Welcome back to the Fitz Blitz here on 89.5 FM KZCT Ozcat Radio in Vallejo. Timmy Fitz bringing you the Blitz along with Stephen Babb here on the 2nd of December of 2019, the Monday after Thanksgiving.
Oh man, 2019. Okay, for me at least, lots of ups and downs.
Okay,
where the hell did it go?
Yeah, it was a quickie.
It's true what they say. The older and older you get, the quicker and quicker it goes. And
right.
I'm not talking about my memory. I'm actually just talking about the time and
just
the years.
the time when it. Okay, all right, that's good. Yeah, 2019 scooted by, and now, let's see, 1919 was a long time ago now. That's exactly 100 years old. I'm trying to think of anything. 1919. Oh, I know what happened in 1919 that is important to our next subject here.
Yeah.
On the Fitz Blitz. In 1919, Branch Rickey, at the time running the St. Louis Cardinals, he was the GM president. He briefly played for them. He was overseeing everything back then.
Yeah.
1919, he bought a stake in the Houston Buffaloes and began building the first farm system. It didn't really exist then. The farm system, the minor league framework we think of now of a big league team owning or affiliating. There's only some that own their affiliates. I know the Cardinals, in fact, bought the Memphis Redbirds. They bought the Springfield Cardinals. They bought one of their A-level teams. But otherwise, they're affiliated, but they're not usually owned by the big club, by the parent club. I think the Yankees may have bought some of theirs. So there's been teams doing it, but that's not really how it is. You have a stake in them, you affiliate with them, and you supply the players to play in their facilities and for your coaches at the different levels. To prove you can climb the rung up to the highest levels. And we've had that format, the current format we've had with minor league baseball, with that of, the way that it is in our rung since 1963.
Yeah.
So the concept of the farm system begins in 1919. The way it's organized right now has been around since 1963. Back then it was Class B, C, D, and E. It had those 4 levels. And that was changed to AAA, AA, A, short season A. So there's 3 levels of A. You got your high, middle, and low A, and then rookie ball even below that. So that was the last time baseball really reorganized in a major way how we see our minor leagues right now, 1963. So there's always been an agreement with a club and the big club and a minor league team and its affiliates. And there's always been this agreement between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball that usually lasts a 7-year term on the sort of collective bargaining between them. We also talk about a players' union and the ownership. Well, that negotiation occurs between big league baseball and minor league baseball as well. And minor league baseball wants to do the first big reorganization of the minors since 1963. And this has been one of these subjects. I don't know if it's a product of baseball not being able to get out of its way again. Everybody wants to beat up on baseball, even though I'm addicted to it.
It is a little bit of a drug.
Yeah, exactly. And, do it. I say do it. And I don't know what everybody's complaining about, because here's the main points that are coming out of this, okay? Here's what I hear. To where even Bernie Sanders has had to jump on it.
That's when you know it's real.
Oh my God. When he has to jump on it to save these teams. They don't deserve this. And these towns. But here's the thing. Welcome to Indie Ball, gang.
Yeah.
Okay? If the Pacific Association, or the Vallejo Admirals, or whoever is shut down tomorrow, nobody in the larger baseball world would bat an eye. And Indie Ball is what it all was.
Yeah.
Until Branch Rickey began the farm system in 1919. Because his small market Cardinals at the time couldn't keep up with the big spenders. So he had to find a way to get talent into his control early on. Like we talk about team control now. That began in 1919 with Branch Rickey. And people thought it was a fluke. They didn't think it would last. This concept of the farm system would be a joke, that it wouldn't last. That's why nothing was ever done to it. You know, Commissioner Landis let it roll. That's because a lot of managers and big people around baseball at the time, Barney Dreyfuss, Frank Nevin, John McGraw managing the Giants at the time, said it was a waste. This will never last. And now look where we are now.
100 years later.
To where everybody's throwing a fit that we might change how it's done. And that some levels might have to go back. And we keep hearing that these teams, that baseball shouldn't do this when they're trying to get young fans and people to start watching baseball at places in Montana and in the the Appalachian League. They can't get to a Yankees game. They can't make it out to Denver and things like that to see a game. And it's like, okay, indie ball.
Yeah.
Welcome back to it. Like, no, the baseball is not shutting these teams down. The big leagues are not shutting down any minor league teams. I'm going to say it again. Big League Baseball is not shutting down any minor league teams. They are going to unaffiliate because they don't think they need all these levels anymore. It's probably too much to draft 40 dudes. We shortened the draft from 50 not that long ago to 40. And now they want to chop it down to 25-ish rounds and then only maybe have levels of A on up. Maybe it's just high A on up. Maybe you're at low A. But rookie ball, a lot of low A is going to get chopped off of the affiliated umbrella. Okay, they want to eliminate 42 affiliations is what baseball wants to do. Remove those affiliations. One thing where I disagree with the big leagues, there's two actually. One, they talk about wanting to pay players more, and this is a way to do it. Okay, big leagues, you got the money to pay your players more regardless of any of these moves. So don't, they're trying to put these other reasons on it when we really know the reasons.
Except maybe the A's. No,
yeah.
Just kidding, A's. I didn't mean to take a shot at you. Just want to find a way to work you into a conversation to be relevant.
Just them in Tampa, right? That need the help. Two, they talk about the facilities not being up to the standards they want for their players. Okay, you're the big leagues. Put something into the facilities then where your players are if it's that important to you.
Maybe $100,000?
Oh God, you $68,000 could put a new one of those fancy batting cages.
Give me the $100,000. I'll go in and do it.
All right, Babs, offering to help here.
Anything to help.
That's good. That's good. So that's what got everybody up in arms. Baseball's killing these teams and these towns, these small towns. They're going to kill these teams. There's no way they'll survive without it. Welcome to indie ball, dog. This is where it's at now. Baseball realizes it doesn't need all these levels. With the way scouting is today, you don't need all these levels. It's time to upwardly promote guys, and I bet baseball's thinking maybe we'll lose less Kyler Murrays to football if they don't have to climb all the way up from low A or rookie ball before coming into the bigs. I think it's got to change.
I do too. And, being a fan of the Giants and kind of looking over the last couple of seasons and seeing guys like Joey Bart and just come on already. Let's go to the bigs. Call them up. What are we waiting for? Right. We need that. The Giants need that, that boost. They need some boost coming up from their minor league systems. Now, at the beginning of this season, their minor leagues weren't graded very well. People were so down on them.
Right. But then what happened?
Yeah. Now look, and it's actually they've got some good pieces. They made some good trades. They did this, they did that, blah, blah, blah. But, it's a lot for these guys to have to go through before they finally make it up. Level after level. And, okay, sure, develop some of these young guys. They need some time for their bodies to mature and things to kind of develop, when they're coming through, but they've gone through high school, they've gone through college, some at the junior college level. They've been playing baseball long enough that the talent scouts and everything are good enough now to where you can look at a guy and see if there's major league potential.
Right.
You don't need to see him play, a winter ball and then go into low A.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how's he going to do? Oh, let's bump him up to high A.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? And then now he's going to go to double A and then do 2 seasons in triple A and then kind of, it's 5 years later.
Yeah, yeah. And some of that's about wanting to have his options still, the player control and service
Which
time.
I think is kind of just, it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it gets to be kind of redundant. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
if you've seen what he can do against double A pitching, I mean, how much better, what different is it going to be against triple A pitching?
Yeah.
Now, there is a big jump between triple A and the majors. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
But come on, like let the fans see some product and be able to make it. And you know what? And a lot of things that you can do as far as these teams go is the ability to trade behind the scenes that fans don't normally see at that level.
Right.
But you don't need 5 different levels to be able to do that. You can do it with 2 levels or 3 levels to be able to do it.
Now, don't get me wrong. This, of course, falls into new school versus old school, like everything else in baseball right now. God, find the balance. Can we, baseball?
Yeah.
Let's get out of our own way. Because it is the Astros and their clinical, heartless, data-based system somewhat bringing us to this point. But every other club is on board. This is a 30-0 vote for the big league clubs to move forward with this of reducing their amount of affiliates. The Astros are the only team after 2017, they started to reduce their affiliates. And they're saying for the baseball people, it was a feeling that it was better to concentrate the coaching resources. We're trying to support a bunch of players that had a less than 1% chance of making the major leagues. 4% of rosters in A-ball right now, 4% will even get a cup of coffee in the big league, Steve.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it's like, why put all those resources into somebody who's never going to be here?
exactly. And I'm all for keeping that dream and that hope alive. But as you were saying earlier, move to independent baseball. And it's not like the dissolution of these affiliates is going to pick up these stadiums and wipe them off the map.
No.
They're still going to be there. And guess what? There's still going to be guys that want to play there. And there's still going to be guys that are, able to play there and have some independent leagues.
Right.
Out of this.
I think this is going to validate indie ball as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not just going to be, those big 4, Atlantic, the Can-Am, Frontier. It's not just going to be those anymore. There's going to be, of course, the Pacific Association with the Admirals, but if the New York League and Appalachian and some of the Florida leagues are now becoming independent as well, it's going to validate what indie ball is, and that affiliated umbrella just doesn't need to be that big anymore. Is all it comes down to. These teams feel like they can do enough, in their facility, that they don't really need to do this anymore. It's just not what it once was. You got guys who are able to work with hitters in these cages with all this body tracking devices and feedback, from Marlon Byrd to Justin Turner to Hunter Pence.
Yeah.
That's part of his resurgence. Bellinger becoming good to great, are doing these in these little storefront sized. Adam Ottavino, now with the Yankees is somebody that's done that. They're sort of imitating what Real Madrid does, just in their facility, being able to have people in their facility. Now, even some of these players who have worked with this technology will still tell you, like Mitch Haniger, Seattle outfielder.
Oh, Mitch.
Yes, he's saying you can't really simulate facing a pitcher in front of thousands of people and failing in front of a whole bunch of people. And that's absolutely true. The minor league still has to exist, but doesn't need to be this big. And that's the thing. Go to some rookie ball games, go to some extended spring, go to some low A, and there are not thousands of people there.
No, not at all.
And that's not helping a guy get ready for a 3 to 4 tier stadium and that moment of the pressure, in comparison to having tracking devices on in a cage, is certainly very different.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of change normally. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But I'm for this. I think it would be great, and I just the independent aspect of what can pop up out of this, and the opportunities that will be there for that type of baseball experience from a fan standpoint.
Right.
You know, me being very new to indie ball and just this past season, you know, getting to work the games I did with the Admirals and getting kind of go around in the Pacific Association. What a fantastic time out with your family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to spend the money to go to a major league game anymore. Like these teams are existent at a local level for extremely reasonable prices for you to take your entire family out and feed them.
Yeah.
For much less than what it would be to say even go to an A's game.
Absolutely.
And it's just a great time out for families. And if this can sprout more independent leagues up out of it around the country for more families to be able to go to, what a fantastic thing for just baseball in general.
Right. So they're talking about sort of these camps at the facilities to replace rookie ball. Maybe some of the best of indie ball coming up, the undrafted guys getting a look, because that's the thing. The other sports, like the G League, not everybody has their own levels of affiliates for that. There's teams sharing G League teams and stuff like that. There's, I don't think you need this many levels anymore. Walker Buehler, Dodger pitcher. He is here in this article that I'm reading right now, off of 538. He said that at any affiliate, there are 3 players who have a chance to play in the majors. 3 players at any affiliate. The rest of the players are there so they can play. Buehler said, I don't think that's fair to prey on these guys' dreams. And I think that's a valid point for him to say, okay, yeah, these guys are here. You got filler to be able to have these rosters full, but what are these guys doing? Do you really need all these players here whose time you're really wasting, is what he's saying.
Well, I think if your talent level is there, I don't think your time's ever really wasted.
Gotcha. And that's what he's saying. There's maybe 3 or 4 dudes.
Yeah. So and
that's it.
So I don't see any dream going away.
Right.
I wish I could still play. Like, I hurt my arm as a kid, and I actually hurt it really bad, where it took me a long time to even be able to throw again. So I loved the game.
Yeah.
And to be able to, if I had the opportunity to go on and play, like even now, I toy with the idea of like playing softball. I just can't throw softball very much.
Gotcha.
And so, I love the game that much. So it would have been awesome to be able to, even at any level, like, I don't care. Like, I'll pay you to come out and be able to play again.
Yeah.
So I think, there is a lot of guys out there with just a strong passion and love for the game. Maybe hold on to a little bit of that dream that you never know. But I think if their talent level's there, I think the dream will always be alive. It doesn't really matter if you're playing independent, you're playing affiliated. It doesn't matter where you're playing at. If you have that kind of talent, something will happen for you.
Yeah. I think Branch Rickey would be fully behind this innovation. He was an innovator.
Yeah.
He invented the batting cage. He invents the farm system. Signs Jackie Robinson. This is Branch Rickey. We're talking about the innovator, the batting helmet.
Yeah.
Branch Rickey. So I think he would be behind this because of the way scouting is today. I know that's new school versus old school too. We can know a lot more about a player right away than what we used to have to, be able to compile seasons of lower levels. Spreading out, hoping that your coach is really addressing the things that you hope. But a Baseball America study from 81 to 2010 found that only 17.6% of drafted and signed players reached the majors. Only 10%, 9.8%, even produced a .1 career wins above replacement. So, we're talking about just such a tiny little group that managed to get through that I can understand. I wish baseball wasn't maybe BSing us. Big leagues weren't BSing us about, it's the facilities or something. I wish they were BSing us about that, or that they, that this will help them pay their players more.
Yeah.
It's like, you really don't need either of those things.
No.
So I wish they weren't BSing us about that, but God, I totally get reducing affiliates. Would I just do away with rookie ball for now and maybe keep low A, give low A 5 years? If it was really about facilities, tell all these low A teams, okay, we're giving you this 5-year agreement to get it together. We're cutting the draft down to 30 rounds. you don't have it together, we're chopping the draft down to 20. As far as our affiliation, good luck being independent. I do think these owners deserve compensation, and there is a compensation plan for what levels you own to be compensated, because these owners bought affiliated clubs. Yeah. It makes them worth more.
It's an investment.
It is, and it reduces their overhead. People want to come up and be able to say, oh, this guy got drafted by the Reds. All these guys drafted by the Reds here. We want to see them. You know what I'm saying? That sort of thing, I get it, but I sell it just fine at the Admirals games. Yeah, this guy was, these two, in fact, were high draft picks of the Angels. This one from the Dodgers, and get a little collection. You get a little bit of everybody. You also get some guys fresh out of Pepperdine. Here's here's Fornacci here, that sort of stuff. So between, you don't really need this many levels to evaluate players anymore. The cost you're reducing on that for such a minimal return of how few of these guys make it. And the big leagues also want to reorganize where some of their affiliates are. So some A-ball teams are going to move up to Double-A, and some Double-A's might slide down to A, and some others may make their way up to Triple-A. They're going to try to geographically balance things a little better too, and they want to kind of get a grip on the affiliateds, who they're affiliated with. Like Sacramento recently switched from the A's to the Giants. Okay, and that forced the A's to look elsewhere, and then they were having to send players away now before affiliating with. I lost one of the Nevada teams, I think now. Yeah.
I think.
No, Reno is, I went to Reno, they're a Diamondback affiliate.
Really?
Yes. So, yeah, I think baseball wants to get a grip on that too. The travel, the International League in AAA is going to shrink to like 10, or I think that's the Pacific. The PCL is going to shrink, International League is going to grow. They're going to try to balance and less long train or bus rides these days and things. They're going to try to make things better, make the operations and the living conditions of minor leaguers better with this in the big picture. And this is one way that they would go about it too. So I do like that. People will complain about, but the indie ball stuff's new. That's only been around, since the Frontier League's only been around since the late '90s and things like that. It's like, okay, well, this team in Charlotte or Charleston or whatever you're talking about that's been around for so long has changed their name 14 times and then moved to become an affiliate of the Orioles become the Frederick Keys, changing their name. Trust me, there's been plenty of affiliations changing and teams moving in these too, so I don't really hear about their tradition.
Yeah, with Major League Baseball affiliated with them. Like, it's changed. Yeah, there's been things, just look at what you just mentioned in Sacramento. Yeah. Going from A's to Giants, and, they have a team in San Jose, they've got a team in Fresno, but then they got a team in Richmond, Virginia.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. And that's Double-A, way out there in Richmond, Virginia.
And imagine calling a guy up to come to Sacramento.
Yeah.
You got to get on a bus from Richmond. No, not Richmond, California.
Yeah. So, as you can see, like a lot of things involving baseball and its stubbornness to change and getting in its own way, this has been on my mind a little bit for a minute. Just because of that knee-jerk reaction. As soon as Bernie got involved, God bless him, I was like, okay, this has gone too far.
Yeah, now...
This is stupid now.
No, it's gone a little too far. Anytime anybody in the political realm starts talking about you...
starts dipping into the sports
It's
pool.
gone too far.
Yeah. It's like, hold on. Because it just it's that bad problem of just grasping at the headline.
Yes,
and grasping at, these teams are going to die without it. No. Welcome to indie ball, gang, okay? Because that's where it's at. And this is going to validate indie ball. This is where I've been. Nobody would have shed a tear for us. Nobody does. Nobody cares about our budget issues. Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys should build a new stadium on Mare Island. Oh, yeah, that's easy, huh?
Yeah. Ask the A's how easy that is.
Yeah, right? Come on. So, I think that bugs me. It's like, okay, well, be independent like you were before Branch Rickey created the farm system. And now this is how the next wave of change is going to be. I like the balance of somebody like what Mitch Haniger of the Mariners is saying, hey, you need both. I like coming into this high-tech stuff. It really helps me. We also need to see if this 20-year-old can handle playing in front of 9,000 people.
Yeah.
before he moves up to 39,000 people. Step one. So it's not, nobody's shutting anything down. The owners should be compensated, especially if they did make investments into their facility. But otherwise, welcome to Indie Ball, gang. Have fun.